if I believe that the Bitcoin is digital gold,
Yeah.
so today it's $1 trillion. It's about $500 billion of Bitcoin, $500 billion of other. So Bitcoin today is about $500 billion.
Yeah.
The monetary value of gold is $5 trillion.
Right.
Okay. So that's 10 times from here.
Correct.
Every halving, we add a zero. Every halving, we 10x the value of the network. And that's just the way Metcalfe's law math works. So we went from 10 to 100, 100 to 1,000, 1,000 to 10,000.
Right.
Next April, 100,000 becomes the new fair value.
Mark Yusk is a renowned hedge fund manager, digital assets enthusiast, and the founder of Morgan Creek Capital Management. Though not a Bitcoin maximalist, Yusk has repeatedly described the leading crypto asset as digital gold and the blockchain as the only viable and suitable replacement for the current trust system created and expensively maintained by central bankers and other custodians of traditional finance. Not expensive for them, but for the rest of the world from whom they rip off over $7 trillion every year. As an example, Yusk notes that the wealth of the Rothschild family is greater than that of the bottom 6 billion people in the world. During the 19th century, the single family possessed the largest private fortune in the world, as well as in modern world history. Though it made a show of splitting the wealth of the past century, it is still one of the most influential and wealthiest families in the world today. And all of that wealth started from the constant debasement of fiat currencies through inflation. Yusk recently joined the Trade to Black podcast for a discussion, during which he discussed the eventual replacement of the trust system with the truth system of blockchain technology. With people like BlackRock's Larry Fink warning people to protect themselves against the devaluation of money by investing in Bitcoin, Yusk says the message will eventually get to everyone and more people will learn to take their wealth outside the trust system. And Yusk believes it's just the right time to make that realization and put some money in Bitcoin. According to the renowned hedge fund manager, next year is the first true year of Bitcoin's insane parabolic move to the upside. He explains that Bitcoin, like every new technology, has an adoption curve or an S-curve, and we are right at the beginning of the parabolic part of the curve. An adoption S-curve is generally made up of 5 different segments. First come the innovators, then the early adopters, the early majority, the late majority, and the laggers. By Yusk's estimates, we are past the first 2 stages and things are about to get really, really interesting. Yusk believes that the influx of institutional investors and the next halving event will create such a demand and supply shock that the leading crypto asset will easily hit $100,000 per coin. By the next halving event in 2028, Yusk is certain Bitcoin will be at least a $5 trillion asset class. We will now bring you clips from Yusk's fascinating interview with the Dales Report. Please watch the video to the end, smash the like button, and subscribe to the channel. And check out our other videos on Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Also, ensure you drop your comments in the comments section below. Thanks and enjoy the video.
The long-term outlook never been better. And that's just simply because in every technological evolution,
Yep.
every day that passes makes it better.
Yeah.
Because you have the failures, you have the foibles, you have the flaws that you find, you fix them and you build and you keep building. And so every day that passes, whether it was mainframes in the 50s, whether it was microchips in the 60s, whether it was a personal computer in 82, internet in 96, MobileNet in 2010, and now the TruthNet in 2024. See, here's the crazy thing. Next year is only the first year of the true knee of the curve of the S curve. The previous 10 years was the warm-up, right? S curves go like this.
Yep.
You get 10% over a decade, then 80% the next decade, than the last, maturity over the next couple decades. And the first decade is for the, the pioneers and the early adopters and, the Vasco da Gamas and the Christopher Colons that go out when Bitcoin was 3 cents. That's what those people were. They were the pioneers and they take the arrows, right? So we did a podcast a couple weeks ago with Scott Stornetta. Scott Stornetta is one of the co-fathers of blockchain technology.
Yep.
He and his partner literally coined the term. They invented it, cryptographic security. And I was talking to him about the aha moment. And in fact, if you read the white paper, the Bitcoin white paper, on the last page, there are 8 footnotes. 3 of them are his. He and Stuart Haber, 3 of the footnotes of Satoshi Nakamoto's work are Scott. And Scott says, well, here's the thing. You realize that we have all this information.
Yeah.
And we can chain it into these series of blocks. hence blockchain. That was one aha moment. But the other one that was cool, he said, so I was thinking about this issue of confirming or affirming information. And two people need a third to look over their shoulder. But the third person's corruptible, so you need a fourth to look over the third. And you need a fifth to look over the fourth, and a sixth. So you need the whole world. Boom. That's a blockchain.
Right.
Blockchain's better. We don't need every person. We need a system, a distributed ledger that can verify truth. And the reason the outlook's never been better for crypto is we are on the verge, literally on the verge of replacing trust with truth.
Trust and truth.
And trust is a $7 trillion industry every year. The Medicis, the Morgans, the Rothschilds, the auditing firms, the accountants, they strip out $7 trillion from us, right? To have a bank account, it costs me money. To send you money, it costs me money. To get audited, it costs me money. All of those things are transactional costs that these guys have lived on for 800 years. And it created the greatest wealth and income inequality in the history of mankind. Blockchain allows us to do what Bitcoin allows us to do is to blow that system up.
Yeah.
If you liberate $7 trillion and put it back in the hands of the people, what happens?
Yeah.
Human creativity gets unlocked. And the most powerful force in the world, other than compound interest, is human creativity.
Yusk also comments on Cathie Wood's recent prediction on Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. During a recent interview with Benzinga, the ARK Invest founder and chief executive officer reportedly predicted that the total market capitalization of cryptocurrencies will rise by over 2,100% by 2030. According to Wood, the huge increase will be brought on by financial institutions investing heavily in Bitcoin and other digital assets starting next year when the SEC approves a spot Bitcoin ETF. During the interview, Wood said, "If institutions want to move in, that's going to be a lot of incremental demand for not that much more incremental Bitcoin supply. The only way to do that is to bid the price up." Woods predicts that institutional investment will increase the overall crypto market cap from just a little over $1 trillion to at least $25 trillion by 2030. By Woods' estimates, the Bitcoin market cap will be half of the total $25 trillion crypto market cap and would be exchanging hands at roughly $650,000 per coin. Yusko's predictions are much more conservative at $5 trillion for Bitcoin and another $5 trillion for the rest of the cryptocurrency industry. Let's get back to the interview as Yusko speaks further about the debasement of money, the replacement of the trust system, and his predictions for Bitcoin and the overall cryptocurrency industry.
The Rothschilds created the first bank, central bank, that created money out of thin air. No longer backed by gold, no longer actual reserves. They could finance wars by printing money.
Right.
And
this is what we do.
And that's what we do all over the world. But here's the crazy thing. That single family, because of that move in 1607, that single family, now it's a big ass family, right? A lot of descendants, more wealth in that one family than the bottom 6 billion people on the planet.
That's crazy.
The bottom 3/4 of the people on this planet have less wealth than a single family. Because in the 1800s, in late 1600s, a few of those Rothschilds went to the UK and created the Bank of England.
Right.
In the early 1700s. And then the Bank of England kind of messed up with the little colonies in America. And then in 1913, we borrowed the model, again, with the help of the Rothschilds. Because remember, the Fed is not federal, nor does it have any reserves. It is a private corporation
owned by the banks.
By the banks and these families. It's owned by Rothschilds and Morgans and all these people. And its job is simply to enrich the banks. And how do they do that? They enrich banks by inflation.
Mm-hmm.
They print money, which makes the assets owned by the people at the top more valuable. You may not like Larry Fink. You may like whatever. You gotta admit he's one of those powerful people in the world, right? He's the head of one of the largest companies in the world, maybe at the center of this Ukraine thing, but whatever. So like him, love him, hate him, whatever. He's a powerful guy, right?
Yeah.
5 years ago, what does he say about Bitcoin? Well, it's an index of money laundering.
Yeah.
Okay. What did he say 3 weeks ago?
It's digital
It's here to
gold.
stay.
Right.
Institutions are going to own it. I'm going to do an ETF, and you probably want to own some to protect yourself against devaluation of the currency. This thing on Kathy and her 25 trillion. Kathy is a hyperbolist.
Yeah.
That's what she does.
Yeah.
And directionally, she's always right. Directionally.
Oh yeah.
100%, right? But she exaggerates like to a level that should not be allowed. I'll tell you how I do it, right? So if I believe that the Bitcoin is digital gold.
Yeah.
So today it's $1 trillion. It's about $500 billion of Bitcoin, $500 billion of other. So Bitcoin today is about $500 billion.
Yeah.
The monetary value of gold is $5 trillion.
Right.
Okay. So that's 10 times from here.
Correct.
Every halving, we add a zero. Every halving, we 10x the value of the network. And that's just the way Metcalfe's law math works. So we went from 10 to 100, 100 to 1,000, 1,000 to 10,000.
Right.
Next April, 100,000 becomes the new fair value. So at 100,000, we're at about 1.5 trillion. So we're a third of the way to that 5 trillion. I'll say by the next halving, which would be 28, easily, we're through the 5 trillion.
Yusk emphasizes the importance of all of us taking our money completely out of the system. He admits that it would have to be a very gradual process, especially now that the banking custodians are still aggressively balking at the idea of a replacement of their outdated, extremely corrupt system. We can opt out of the system with a portion of our wealth, but the central banks will never allow us to take it all. But that's all we need to take this to the next phase of adoption, everyone finally realizing that the old system is dead and must be retired. Then we can finally begin the recovery process and begin to heal our world with the truth system. What are your thoughts on Mark Yusko's interview and predictions for Bitcoin? Please drop your comments and observations in the comments section below. Also, be sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.